California's Mojave Desert. It's not where you might expect your next meal to come from, but that's where you'll find Heather Rose Cates, searching for a plant that could help secure the future of a beloved vegetable.
Low growing, kind of a dark grayish green, and with green fruits and yellow fruits. So that's what you're looking at the window for.
She's scanning the desert roadsides for a plant called the coyote melon.
We've spotted it here, growing along the ground. Nice yellow fruits.
Coyote melon is in the same family as squash. It's a big family. Butternut squash, zucchini, pumpkins, and more are members.
Anything else?
Those vegetables are popular in many of the world's cuisines. But Kate's is definitely not collecting the coyote melon for its flavor.
Terrible. It tastes like soap. It contains cucurbitacin, which is one of the most bitter substances known to mankind.
What coyote melon lacks in flavor, it makes up for in drought tolerance. Its desert home gets 15 to 20 centimeters of rain per year or less. Domesticated squash need at least 2.5 centimeters per week. Breeding coyote melon with domesticated squash could make the crop more drought tolerant. That could be useful on a planet growing warmer and more crowded.
The world is facing a real challenge in terms of food security over the next few decades.
Andy Jarvis with the International Center for Tropical Agriculture says researchers are studying the wild relatives of our domesticated crops because farmers will need to produce 50 to 70% more food by 2050.
And to be honest, we're running out of options in terms of making crops more productive. And so really I think what we've got to do is go back to the wild, go back to the origins to look for characteristics that we can use to improve our crops.
But there's a problem, he says.
Our agriculture is dependent on these kinds of species that in the wild are going extinct. They're threatened, and in most cases we don't have seed collections in gene banks.
Kate's is part of a global effort by scientists to collect these plants and save their seeds while they still can. They're collecting wild oats in Cyprus, wild potatoes in Argentina, wild peppers in Paraguay. They will be stored at the Global Seed Vault in Norway and at Kew Gardens outside London. For Kate, who spends most of her time in a lab, the road trip has given her a whole new appreciation of her subjects.
And it's really only once you're out here looking at the wild plants, which are where our crops came from, that you get to see what they can do.
And what they might do for our crops in the future. Steve Baragona, VOA News, in California's Mojave Desert.